Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Week 4. So this week is our 4th week. So that means that we are very good in a month into this semester already. How time flies. Okay. And day 1 on Monday, we do recap, and we do recap on what we did last week. Okay. And let's have a look. So what did we do in week 3? We did Idgham. We introduced you to Idgham. And we did the second type of it, which is naqis. And remember, noon means, well, not noon means, but noon, naqis begins with N sound. Okay, so it means that the N sound, the noon sakin sound, will remain. Okay, we'll do partial merging. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at what we're doing today. Okay. So we've got a lovely quote of our promised Messiah al-Islam. Those who honor the Quran shall be honored in heaven. So what do we expect you to do? Before your class, log in at 5:45, have your full student ID displayed. So it's very important, and that goes for teachers as well, that if you're logging in with your name, please rename yourself as soon as you can. Your ID should begin with LT for teachers and C for your C if you're a student. Here it is. C, and that's your tanzeem, GB for the country, and this is your room number. You should perform ablution, be in clean clothes, sit in quiet room, accompanied by an adult if required. Have your pen and paper, I say notebooks, you should have your notebooks ready, and no eating or drinking, and please remain on mute while you read or repeat out loud. Okay, so let's clear all this and move on to the next page. Okay, can anyone tell me what this is? Is it for me or is it for you? Let's send a request.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Is that Adila from room 8?
Yes,
How are you, beta?
I'm fine, and you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine as well. Beta, I couldn't not spot you. You've got lovely emojis right next to your name. Also keep them to 1 at least, okay? So beta, this, what you can see is a checklist. Is it for me or is it for teachers or for students?
It's for students.
Excellent. And if I was to ask you, can you tick this? Can you tick this? What would be your answer, beta?
Yes.
Excellent. And you're a super student, aren't you? Okay, so this is a checklist. It's in your so this is in a student handout, and the student handout has been sent to you. How, beta? Do you know? Okay, let's ask somebody else. We have only got 2 minutes today. Okay, Jazakumullah, Adila, I'm going to ask somebody else now. Who shall I ask? Let's ask for.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you, beta?
Good.
Excellent. Okay, beta. This is a checklist, and it's for you. And where would you find this? Have you checked your student handout today?
I didn't hear you properly.
Okay, can you hear me now, beta?
Yes.
Okay, beta, have you seen your student handout? In fact, please, all of you, raise your hands if you have seen the student handout. It should be on your parents' mobile phone, sent via WhatsApp. And if you don't, if your parents don't get a chance to show you, you're going to ask your mums or your dad, say, Mommy, can I please have a look at your phone? She might say no at first. They say it's for my student handout. Okay, so get a chance. If you get a chance before Monday, I would like you to have a look at your student handout. And this is what you should be able to tick every week. Okay, this is your checklist. And this is what we did in week 1. So we did revision, and these are the page numbers of Talimul-Qur'an. This is your Hifz Surah, chapter 2. So this was Al-Baqarah verses 1 to 6. And the prayer which we memorize, which is we do at the end of each lesson. And then these are your QRS. Okay, we want everybody to give their QRS. And that's your Quran reading stage. So we need to know where you are at. If you haven't started the Holy Quran yet, you can do that. Okay. So Frakanda beta, you need to have a look at the student handout straight after the class and see if you can tick all these. Is that okay? Now your attendance, Frakanda, is very good. I think you haven't missed a single class. Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. I'll keep a very close eye on participant list, so I know you haven't missed a single class. So next time when I ask you, I'd like you to say, yes, Miss, I can take all these. Is that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. I'll ask you next time. Okay, it's 6 o'clock, and I'm going to hand over to our MCL, that's main course leader, Mrs. Orchard.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakumullah. So I would like to ask you, can you hear my voice and see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to ask Qamar Nisa Saiba to do tilawat. Now, you're going to repeat afterwards. Have a look at this rule. This rule underlined in red that you're going to read with ghunna is the rule from last week, partial merging with the ghunna. Okay, in Idgham and Naqis. So we'll ask Qamar Nisa Saiba, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. You may begin.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tabb. Ma aghna anhu maluhu wa ma kasab. Sayasla naran zata lahab. Wamra'atuhu hammalatal hatab. Fi jidiha hablum min masad.
Jazakumullah, and we'll see you again at the end of the lesson to the dua. I hope everybody was listening to all those rules. And I would like to make sure that you understand what you're reading. Come back after the main lesson, by the way. Make sure you come back and we can do some more listen and repeating. Now here, where you've got here, this verse number 3 and verse number 4. With verse number 4, waqf was done. You can do waqf, and then you can continue through. But you have another option that you can do wasl as well. Now that's why I've got that red line there. If you do wasl, if you combine these two verses together, and let's say you stop here at the end of this line with the ta is, we'll do ta today, then there will be a ghunna, because idgham naqis, partial assimilation is taking place. So the way it was read in waqf, lahab, full stop kind of thing, and then wamra'atu, nothing happening there. But if you continue, the tanween is followed by a waw. Can you see down here? Waw, mim, noon, and ya are letters of idgham and naqis, partial assimilation. So if you continue, then what you're doing is you're combining the sounds. When you combine the sounds, you get idgham, blending, joining of the sounds. Okay. So then the end, then this, instead of becoming sakin, you will get this tanween turning into ghunna. Lahabin wamra'atu, like this. Okay. It's not lahabin wamra'atu. No, you've got to not just stress on the wa, you've got to hold it for 2 because of the ghunna. Okay. Lahabin wamra'atu, like this. Okay, that's just to point that out. And you're going to see this screen several times this week. this should make sense to you. If you look at what's being pointed, you should know what sakin and tanween is. Sakin is a letter with sukoon, is the noon with the sukoon, and tanween is the sign equivalent, the same thing. Okay, it's the same sound, that sound. And then you can see here in this surah 4 times they're followed by one of these letters, ya, noon, mim, and waw. Twice it's waw, twice it's mim. They will be mushaddad. So you will not only stress on them because of the shadda, you will hold the ghunna. They will create a ghunna sound. All of this is going to help you with your tune, okay? Now, let's go on to, now this is what we do on a Monday. We just do recap. And the way we do recap is we go through the student handout. Sorry, I didn't get the student handout to you until, you should get it today, okay? I didn't have time to make it beforehand. So actually today, what you do is after today's lesson, have a good look at this student handout, do all these fill in the gaps. Okay, do this yourself, fill in the gaps, look at what we did. It's all repeating from last week. Okay, so I don't have to repeat, tell you about the compulsory stop, waqful lazim, it's called, it's got a meme because the word lazim has a meme at the end, that you must stop, and it's so important according to the meaning to stop and pause there. They've put it in the margin. This is all revision. So A means that's your tick list. So at the top of the class, assistant course leader told you that you have a tick list. Here is your tick list, okay? And you should have already ticked row 1. That's week 1, week 2. We're now on to week 3. Slowly, slowly, this is going to build up. And this is only the first half term, 10 weeks. And you've got another 10 weeks afterwards, so keep up. So all of you should have ticked this. You should have read the rules, copied out the rules from the fill in the blanks, whether it was about idgham, naqis, or waqf lazim, the compulsory stop. Then you should have memorized chapter 110, Surah Nasr, Idha Jaa Nasr. We should have memorized that from last week. We had the whole week to do that. Then you had the third part of the prayer. Do you remember that prayer where we had idgham and naqis? I'll show you that again later. And then you must give your chapter and verse, your QRS, to your teacher. And these were the rules that we covered last week. This week, have a look at this tonight. Okay, have a look at this tonight. Again, a quick reminder why we say ta'awuz, because in the Quran, Allah tells us that we should recite the Quran. We should recite, we should ask for Allah's protection against Satan before we recite any Quran. So just a reminder to let you know why we recite these words. Okay. Then again, you're going to get this repeated. This will also be in your student handout, as will this, all repeating from last week. Everything should be familiar, everything. So up till now, we've done a couple of stop signs. Al-waqfu tam, that's the perfect stop, and al-waqfu lazim, okay, compulsory stop. It's all in your handout, so you can go back and look at that. This is the new one we're doing, okay? This is a ta, mutlaq, Can you see the ta here in the word mutlaq? This means the absolute stop. Now, it's not the same as lazim. It doesn't mean you must absolutely stop here, but it does say, you know, it's better to stop here. According to the meaning, it's better that you do stop, but it's not compulsory. So if you do wasl, it's okay. It's all right. It's acceptable. But it is better according to the meaning for you to stop. So there it is in the list of waqf signs. Remember, I told you a couple of semesters ago, we had 17 that we had to learn. But this semester, lucky for you, we've only got 5 or 6. So we're doing them slow and steady. So you should all know, if I did a matching game and I had these signs and I had these words, al-waqfu tam, al-waqfu lazim, al-waqfu mutlaq, you should be able to match them if I mix them all up. Okay, that's why you should memorize them. Okay, so this is the one for today, the ta. Ta means it's better to stop, but not like waqfu lazim compulsory. Okay, but it is better. So just to be on the safe side, when you see a ta, just stop there. Al-waqfu mutlaq. Mutlaq, okay? And here it is here. These are the 2 signs that we've got here. So again, just to show you here, al-waqfu lazim, because the meme at the end of lazim, I put a little dot there to show you that's why they've got the meme. That's the meme that stands for it, okay? And here, al-waqfu mutlaq, the absolute stop, they have a ta, okay? The ta of that is, imagine that's the ta of the mutlaq, which means absolute stop, better to stop there, okay? Now remember, the compulsory stop is so important, the one with the meme, al-waqfu lazim, the compulsory stop, the one in yellow, is so important they put it in the margin so we don't forget, because these signs are little, we might miss them. So it tells us, look, it's coming up on this line. And so we're ready for it and we've got it there. Then again, we'll be reading and it says on this next line, look, waqful lazim, it's coming up, be ready. And there it is there. So we must be ready to stop. It tells us a third time and a fourth time. So in An-Naziyat, it comes up quite a few times, okay? So again, after this week, well, this is actually the compulsory stop is something that we did last week. Al-waqful lazim, and al-waqful mutlaq. Al-waqful mutlaq is what we're doing this week, mutlaq, okay? The ta, mutlaq, that's the only new thing we're doing today, right? Now, this is from last week. It's from last week. And now I could ask you to read, someone to read. I might want to ask you to explain this now. Now we have to learn all of these terms. The terms are there to make things easier for us. We've got this word idgham. Then we have this word kamil and gunna and naqis. And it says here that idgham kamil, well, I'll tell you what it means. Kamil means no gunna and naqis means with gunna. So if you know what these mean, put your hand up, keep your hand up. I might ask one of you to unmute and tell me to explain this. Just imagine you're a teacher and you're trying to explain it to somebody. So I'm going to ask somebody to unmute. Let's have a look. MashaAllah, all the youngsters have their hands up. Wa Islam. Who is that?
Jasper.
Jazba beta. What is idgham? Do you remember? Does it mean reading something clearly or does it mean blending it?
It means blending it.
That's correct. Okay. So there's two types of idgham. What are they called?
Idgham kamil and idgham naqis.
Excellent. Now, kamil means, do you remember what kamil means? Complete. The way I remember that is kamil and complete are similar words, okay? And naqis means incomplete, partial, okay? Now, when it's complete, it's like this, okay? There's no gunna. So here's a tanween. We're talking about nun sakin and tanween, the N sound. There's a tanween there on the lam. And there's the lam. It's followed by a lam. The tanween, ignore this lam. It's the tanween. The N sound is followed by a lam. So how would you say these way up to this lam here? How would you say that?
Waylun likulli.
Good, shabash. Now you don't have to sit on this. Waylun likulli, like this. You don't have to sit on it. Okay, so it's no gunna, remember? Okay. Next one. Do you think you could do this one? And you can stop here. You can make this into a ha sakin at the end. Lomazah, like this, lomazah. So how would this be? Do you want to have a go?
Humaza dillumaza.
Very good. Dillumaza. All you did was you stressed on it, but there was no gunna. Excellent. So the N sound on the tanween disappeared, right? Now here, this happened, complete assimilation happened with the lam. What other letter creates complete assimilation? There's two letters, lam and remember the other one?
Meme.
Ra. Okay, I think you're talking about this. This is the meme one here, naqis. Okay, naqis. Okay, jazakumullah. Thank you for your help with the idgham kamil, complete assimilation with no gunna. Excellent work. Okay, let's ask one more person to unmute. All the youngsters, all the young students are volunteering. MashaAllah. We need to get some older people.
Assalamualaikum.
Hi, Islam. Is that Humayl?
Yes.
How are you, beta?
Good. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. Now, idgham naqis. Now, the way I remember it is it creates a nasal sound, and naq is nose in Urdu, but there's no connection in the meaning, right? So the point is that's just the sound it makes, a gunna sound. It's incomplete. Naqis means it's partial or incomplete. Okay, so we're left with a gunna sound. So when you say ma'lan wa'addada, how would you join it? How would you hear that gunna?
Malam wa'addadu.
Dah.
Dah.
Good. Okay, just make the ma bit. I've got malam wa'addada. One more time, beta.
Okay. Malam wa'addada.
Very nice. I heard a nice elongation of 2 there. I had a lovely ghunna and the ayn was done very nicely. Okay, and then this one, you got these 2, anadin and mumaddadah. So how would that be?
Amadim didim mumaddada.
Very nice. Okay, did you hear? So, mashallah, jazakumullah, thank you for your help. So that is actually helping us, that ghunna is actually helping us to create a nice tune. Okay, so this is all from last week, nothing new, nothing new. Okay, so that was these letters here. Idgham in naqis with these ones here, the mim, the ya, the waw, and the noon. Okay, now previously we had done idgham kamil, complete assimilation without, where there's no ghunna. That's ra and lam. And we just had one with the ra, one with the lam, sorry. And then the week before we were doing izhar, where these letters have absolutely no effect on the noon sakin tanween. You just read them clearly, but no ghunna. Okay, alif, ha. Actually, this is not alif. This is we call it hamza actually. And we'll explain this another time. Let's call it 6 letters because alif, this that is written as alif and this hamza are actually called hamza. They have the same sound. Remember, every single letter has its own sound. Okay, ha, ayn, ghain, ha, and hamza. Okay, those are 6 letters, huruf halaki, letters of the throat. Okay. And then very briefly, we touched on how there are some exceptions to the rule. And these letters, ya and waw, they look like letters of idgham in naqis, incomplete assimilation with ghunna. But actually, there is a particular reason, but there's no ghunna. You read these clearly, izhar. Okay, here it says izhar, not idgham. Okay, so we don't say adun, ya, none of that. Okay, because there's no shadda on there either. So we just say ad-dunya, bunyanun, sinwanun, qinwanun. Okay, I would have let you do that. We just don't want to run out of time, but have a go at those. Have a go at those, please, tonight, because it looks like they're these letters, right? These ones, but they're not. But they're not actually. They're exceptions to the rule. Okay, even though they're the ya and the waw. Okay, there's your ya, and there's your waw. They are exceptions. That means they don't follow the rule, but only a few words. Okay, whereas these ones, they're shadda, they're mushaddad. Okay, if they are mushaddad, if they're carrying the shadda, then you know that idgham is taking place. Okay, in fact, even these ones are mushaddad. Okay, so let's. I was going to actually cover these up. I'll do that on Thursday. Actually, maybe I'll give you a little quiz on that. So let's get some people reading these. So we've got all these words, izhar, idgham, kamil, all this. We want to kind of know, what does it mean? What does it sound like when we read these words? So I'm asking, so if you've got your hand up, I'm sending you a message to unmute. If you don't want to unmute, then you need to put your hands down. Assalamu alaikum, Mehreen, how are you, beta?
Wa alaikum assalam, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. Now, you're going to tell us that when the noon sakin or the tanween, here it is on the tanween here, when they're followed by one of these letters of the throat, these throat letters, al-huruf al-halaqi, they have no effect on the sound. They're just read clearly without ghunna. So could you please give us a demonstration by reading these phrases, please?
Okay. Man amana
Jazakumullah. And the other one?
azabun alim.
Good, just jump off it straight away. Excellent. Now, the opposite is going to happen now. The opposite in that you won't hear the end sound. It's going to disappear into the ra and the lam. And that is called, what's that called?
Idgham
Kamil, which is?
complete merging and there's no ghunna at all.
No ghunna. Okay, let's have a hair of this. Yep.
Min rabbihim
Good.
milladunna.
Shabbat. You do a bit of a ghunna here. Like this.
Milladunna.
Shabash, mashallah, excellent. Okay, so that was the opposite. So thank you for that. Jazakumullah, excellent reading. So can you hear how the end sound is changing? So I'm going to ask one more person to unmute if you've got your hand up.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, Islam, Haris, how are you, beta?
How are you?
I'm good. So now you're going to give me some ghunna now, right? So the word is man. And there's yaqulu. So how would you do this? A bit of ghunna on here.
Man yaqulu.
Very nice ghunna. Okay, so this is idgham in naqis partial. So it's doing the same thing as the other letters, but it's not completely going in. You're left with a hunna because it's followed by a ya, noon, mim, or waw mushaddad. Next one, beta, we've got min and ni'matin.
ni'matin
You did, oh yeah, you started it with that. Yeah, next one.
mimmalin
Very nice. Jazakumullah. Next one.
minwalin
Jazakumullah. MashaAllah. Very nicely done. Okay, did you hear that, everybody? You can hear that really nice gunna sound. Okay, it's going to help you with your tune. Okay, and then finally, you should have memorized all of this, by the way. We've done this over the last 3 weeks. Make sure you memorize this. And just to help you, if you learn it with the translation as you go along, it might help you to remember all the phrases. Okay, so you should have learned this from last week. Okay, and this was the third phrase. You're going to get the next one today. Actually, we're going to move on to the next part today. So let's make sure we know this. Okay, just this last bit that we had, this last section of the prayer, it had idgham in naqis 3 times. Okay, because we had tanween, 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 followed by a waw mushaddad. So it was waj'alhu li imaman wa nuran wa hudan wa rahma. So we don't do imaman wa nuran wa, we sit on that waw, imaman, like this. Okay, so we don't jump off it straight away, and that's how you should try to read it. Okay, just a quick reminder, the Holy Prophet said that we must have the Quran in our heart. We must memorize it. This was Surah Nas from last week. Don't worry about the rules. We'll cover them and learn them as we go along. Now today, in your breakout rooms, you're going to have the same surah. Make sure you read it with the gunna. Make sure that everybody has given their QRS, your chapter and your verse, to your teacher. And you might get, oh, I wasn't meant to put that there. Oops, this has gone in the wrong. No, you've got something else. That's fine. That's for tomorrow. Okay, so you've got this to do, and you've got the prayer from last week as well. So should we go into our breakout rooms, please?